Hey guys, I'm back with my fighter build today. It's a DPS build, so I'm sorry for everyone that wanted the tank build, but you gotta wait. And so I'm use mainly my fighter in the last few weeks. It's great for trials. In AoE it's decent, not definitely not the best class for AoE, but it's decent. But in trials we probably have the best damage you can get in Tom or ZC. Other classes can get really close. I played with really good DCs, TRs, but fighters are great this mod on single target. They're really hard to beat when you try to maximize your damage output, your gameplay, your stats. So this is how I build mine. Let's give a look at the stats first. You see, for power, I'm close to be capped. The reason why I'm not capped is because I rely on the Manticore to be on in a trial on the heater. So that way, if I'd be already capped at 90%, then the Manticore would be useless for me and I would be wasting stats. So I just moved 2000 stats to another rating, like accuracy, and so I can make use of that Manticore in the group, and that way I maximize what I'm getting from my gear. Besides that, I'm gonna just show you real quick, since we don't have the Manticore here, unfortunately. I'm using the Invocation Blessing to kind of replicate what happens in a group, even though it doesn't give you as much power. So yeah, it's kind of like having the Manticore. So if nobody has a Manticore, you can just use the Invocation Blessing. Then I've got my Forger Box on. I've got my Icy Arms on, obviously, because they'll always be up in a trial. And Watermelon Sorbet, Wildstorm, Flask of Potency, Ratatouille. So with that being said, let's see the stats. My power would be 90% in the trial. Accuracy would be 79, because I've got the companion enhancement for it. And combat advantage with a Sky Blazer would be close to 86%. Critical strike would go up to 87.5%, and crit salve would be at 90%. I'll show you real quick. I don't know if the Sky Blazer will proc here, but let's see. I'll just try to use a few encounters to proc the ribcage, even though my combat advantage is not helping at all. Okay, so let's see. These are my stats right now, right here. They will drop down in a bit, but this is what it looks like. And so the way I reach those stats, let's see the gear. Starting from ability scores, I went for strength, obvious reasons, and dexterity. So dexterity and charisma is a really close call. Use whatever fits you, because the difference is really small. From dexterity you get effective 0.5% useful stats per point. From charisma, not as much, because part of that 0.5% of forte goes into crit avoidance that we don't need. So, but charisma also makes up a bit with recharge speed, which is little anyways. So the difference is really small. Use whatever fits you. I went for dexterity to help me cap my crit salve. My crit salve is now more than what I need. I would need 77.5% unbuffed, because then the ribcage would bring me up to 90. So you can probably, if you follow my build, you can move 1 point from dexterity to charisma and you'll still be fine. For the gear, Sky Blazer, obviously the best one. They're really hard to proc, the Whisper Hood and the Guristro Horns, plus every time the boss goes away you have to stack them again. The Sky Blazer is by far the best one. If you don't have it, you can use Guristro Horns, obviously, but if we're talking about the best choice, Sky Blazer. Second best choice, probably gonna be either Guristro Horns or Whisper Hood. Bone Devil's Ribcage, by far the best chest piece, we're not gonna talk about it. Icy Arms, I saw some people using the arms from the MEs that gives you extra 3% encounter damage. That's bad. You're not only losing item level, but you're also losing damage, because like you buff 3% of just your encounter powers. Encounter powers will be about, I don't know, roughly 35% of your damage. Let's say 35. It's gonna be less than 1% damage total, and it's additive as well, like most bonuses. So it's really not that great. It's not a great trade-off for 5k power. 5k power from the arms is great because you can move your stats around and basically cap all your ratings. One of the reasons why my ratings are not capped, despite being at 54k, is because I've got all my mythic colors, so that doesn't help with capping the ratings, obviously. Then we've got Mirage set. So in a group, Mirage set is what gives you the best personal DPS. Mirage set versus 5 people with masterwork weapons, you'll still do more damage with Mirage. But if the group asks you to run master crafting, that's nice, because it gives, like, it kind of relieves the pressure on the healers. You get less damage, it helps them healing. So for smoother runs and less casual, I would say, go with masterwork weapons if everybody has them. Otherwise, if the group's not gonna use masterwork altogether, just go with Mirage. If you don't have Mirage, you can use Zerial weapons. The reason why I say Zerial weapons and not Lionheart is because Griffin's Wrath, which is this 3 hit attack, it counts as 3 encounters for the purposes of celestial weapons, and their stacks to proc 7.5% extra damage. So that's why it's not really difficult for a fighter to proc it. And then we've got Rusted Iron Leggings. As you can see, I've got the boots from Voss as well. Okay, this one's. But you know, I don't need that many stats. I'm just 1,000 shy on 3 ratings. I don't need like 8k extra stats. So I went for the 5% boots. And then obviously, this is Music Box set, which is the best one for the stats and for the rotation that I'm gonna show you later. Double melee ring. Another good choice for the ring is the one I'm gonna show you. I have it on a different tune, so I'm just going through collections. Is the Red Eyes Glare. That one's decent because it gives you more item level, power, accuracy. It's a good trade-off. You can use this one as well if you like, and maybe use a cooldown shirt. For the shirt, just talking about it, power shirt, absolutely. But if you don't have it, the cooldown shirt is pretty cool as well. And if you use the cooldown shirt, then you should go for the Red Eyes Glare, the ring that I just showed you. Then for the pants, go with whatever. As you can see, I'm slotting in the Draconic because this is the pants that I'm using on my tank as well. For the artifacts, I'm using the Frozen because my Frozen doesn't have dwarves, as you can see. So I just use it in whatever group and nobody will ever bug me. But you can also use different artifacts and your stats won't hurt. So if you don't have a Frozen without dwarves, you can also use the Black Dragon set and your stats will be fine. Obviously your power changes a bit, but you'll be fine with Manticore. And this set gives you extra 10% recharge speed, which is great because fighters damage basically all comes from encounters. But obviously if your group doesn't need a Black Dragon and a Frozen, you can also switch to, like, I'm just picking artifacts at this point. Just go with whatever new artifacts you have, and your stats will still be fine. Like, obviously you need to rearrange them a bit, but as you can see, I'm not far off my ratings, even changing the artifacts. And alright, so let me switch them back. For the for my enchantments, I've been using all assassins in my offensive slots and 1 tenebrous, while as in my defensive slots, this is the Draconic I'm using on my tank build, so don't mind that. use single slot enchantments so you get higher combined rating out of them. I'm using Fire Burst for my armor enchantment. There's like the difference so negligible nowadays that I just use one for as a transmute. Like you see, I'm a big fireball, so yeah, Fire Burst looks cool. I think that's why I went with that one. If you wanted an armor enchantment for trials, go with Bark Shield or Shadowclad probably. Weapon enchantment Bilethorn, obviously. It kind of has the same issues that it has on most classes. Like it doesn't crit the proc, the poison proc doesn't crit on some of the fighter powers, but it's still the best one you can use. Whirlpool is shit, and Plague Fire is just not as good. Probably the second best choice. Then going for the modifications, Heavy Slash, and you're gonna spam Heavy Slash on single target, so that's enough of a reason to use the modification. Reach out speed, because you don't get that much crit sap or forte out of those modifications, so I went for reach out speed and combat advantage. One thing you could do, obviously the best overloads you can get are Devil's Precision and Rage of Flames, but not everyone has them, not everyone wants to use them all the time. You can always restore them at the forge in the Citadel and bring them back to 10 hours by slotting them on a piece that you're gonna restore, and then the overload gets back to you with 10 hours on it. That way they're pretty much unlimited, but you know. If you slot this overload, your stats are gonna go up even more, so you wanna switch out one of the companions I'm using, the Face Spider, for the Redeemed Fallen. Not this one. Where's the Redeemed Fallen again? Here. Okay. So you get some extra accuracy, and that's it. But anyways, going back to, I'll take it out so it doesn't deplete, and I think we are done. You can see my reinforcements, obviously accuracy, 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 and combat advantage on this side. So moving on, we'll go for the powers. Heavy Slash is the one you need to use on single target. Reeve is for ranged damage or AoE. Then for your encounter powers, Bull Charge, it's really useful in Tom and ZC because it allows you to go straight back to the center without having to walk for like 2-3 seconds and lose damage. So yeah, despite being your weakest encounter, it kind of it becomes really decent when you factor in that it allows you to move faster, and also the fact that you're running momentum, which increases its damage even more. Anvil, it's your best encounter for the magnitude, obviously, and the cooldown. And as the third one, Griffin's Wrath. The reason why I'm not using Commander Strike is cooldown's higher, and also the only way that it could even be beneficial to put it on is taking off Bull Charge. But as I told you, it's really useful to have this one in trials to go back to the boss straight away when Alistair lands, when Zariel comes back. You'll see, I'll post some of my gameplays so you can see how important it is to me, Bull Charge. And obviously it doesn't even compare to Griffin's Wrath, so yeah. Commander Strike, not an option. If you're the only one that can bring it, that can bring a physical debuff, then you can run it. But at that point, I'd still take out Griffin's Wrath. You're gonna lose a bit of damage, but it's for the group if you want to do it. For the dailies, Mow Down on single target, Earthshaker on AoE. I'm gonna show you what to do with this one on AoE later. Class features Vigorous Strike for extra 10% crit, which will amount to pretty much extra 6% damage, and Momentum. The reason why I'm not running Enduring Vengeance is because it's just 5% extra damage, but it's additive, so it turns out to be about 3.5% extra damage, plus when you die and you revive, it takes another minute to stack up, so it's kind of annoying. Feats. Feat for Anvil, obviously it's way better than heavier slash on single target. You're gonna use your encounters a lot in trials. Sometimes you won't have even time to use at wills, and yeah, and every time you use Reeve you lose a lot of damage because heavier slash doesn't proc off heavy slash, so you'd have to use Reeve, so that's already like a damage loss. Second feat doesn't matter, it's for AoE, so whatever. Third feat, crushing blows, it's decent, but if you take crushing blows, you have no way of building vengeance, and that's dreadful because it will just deplete so fast. You'll have to use R1 so many times. So I went for rolling hatred. It keeps your vengeance at basically 100% all the time, so it's great. Fourth one, obviously you want to go for Striker's Mark. You don't need to use Commander Strike to use this feat, because for this feat purposes, the takedown from the Barbarian tank and Wicked Reminder from the Trickster Rogue, they also count and give you extra 400 magnitude if they're applied on the enemy. Executioner Cut, way better, because our vengeance never gonna go under 50%, and it gives you a lot of extra damage when the target's close to dying. Boons, pick all the offensive boons, so power, accuracy, combat advantage, crit strike, crit sev. I picked some of the defensive ones. I don't have as many boons as on my barb, so yeah, I went for a few of the defensive ones. Lingering medicine, I can't get over how good this boon is. Just pick it and you'll see it. Movement speed, obviously, forte and recharge speed, they're just the best ones. Action points gain, you don't need it. And bloodlust, go stronghold, revive sickness, awareness, crit sev. Companions, I'm running a cold iron warrior, accuracy, companion announcement, because every other companion announcement would put me over the cap, so I went for this one. These are my pieces that I got from Shattered Diamonds, not from bounties, but they're both good as long as you find the right stats. And obviously 6 Indomitables for your companions. Companions are really strong now, so that's what you want to use. Here you can go with Redeemed Fallen or a Phase Spider. It doesn't really matter, you can use either of those, as long as you're not capped on those stats, obviously. Batiri, Black Dragon, Staldorf, Golden Cat. If you don't have the Golden Cat, go with the Alchemist, which I can't find right now. Okay, here it goes, with the Alchemist Discipline. I'll just put the cat right back on. So mounts, Tunnel Vision, Rapid Accuracy. I'm just showing you what stats I have on, but obviously you can balance in different ways. It's just the way that worked out the best for me. 2 Assassin's Covenants for a lot of extra offensive stats. 2 Warlords, extra companion damage. 1 Artificer, which is key to our artifact window rotation. No Gladiator's Guile, it's nice, but it doesn't increase our DPS, so that's out. For your colors, you want to go for Encounter Powers and Crit Sev. The other ones don't really matter. I'm using my colors on all my tunes, so I went for like kind of an overall good choice. Alright, so this is my single target rotation. When you're approaching an artifact phase, what you do is, obviously you gotta have your vengeance up, but you build it up before the before going into the circle, and make sure you let your stamina build back, so you get your crit strike back, your power back. You see how my stats will increase as my stamina goes up, because when your stamina is low, you lose crit chance, you lose combat advantage, you lose power. So yeah, what you want to do is basically when you're close to an artifact hole, go Slash, Anvil, Bull Charge, use your artifact, then you go daily, triple Griffin's Wrath, Tunnel Vision, a few Heavy Slash until you get Bull Charge and Anvil back. This way you used Anvil, Bull Charge before the artifact phase, and you get them back during the artifact window. So that allows you to use 2 extra encounters without losing them in the artifact window. And that's thanks to Artificer Persuasion. This way, also using the daily as your first thing in the artifact rotation, you make all the use you can of music box set, and that's great. I'll also show you in some of my Tom or ZC runs. So then this is pretty much it for single target. Like, as you can see, it's all the same stuff as usual, same potions and shit. On my consumable bars, on my consumable bar I use Forger Box, Horn of the Alliance. If you don't have it, you can use the Leader's Bell of Empowerment, and Yellstone. And I feel like that's it for single target. Let me know if you have any kind of sort of doubt on it. When you're not in an artifact phase, just spam your encounters as you get them back, like every time. Don't be afraid of just spamming your encounters, and spam Heavy Slash when you don't have your encounters back. That's it. Fighter DPS is really easy. Anyone can play it. Only a few people can maximize the damage according to mechanics and stuff. Now, just a quick look at my AoE loadout, so that you guys can see what I'm using. So the main issue with fighter AoE is target cap on some of the AoE powers. So I didn't even bother switching my set. I'm not that keen on like fighter AoE because you'll see like the artifact set doesn't make a huge difference. But I did put Forest Guardian's Head when I'm in Voss, obviously. Otherwise you should use how is it called again? Whisper Hood, yeah. And for extra accuracy and movement speed, which is very nice. For AoE, if I had to pick a weapon set, I'd probably go with a Lionheart, or like whatever. It doesn't make a huge difference. Even the burning set from Elemental Evil is not that great for fighter, and I'm gonna explain you why our dailies are not that great. Rusted Iron Leggings, Envenom, that's the first one obviously. If you don't have Envenom, you can use Atropal or Cleric Sigil. On single target, if you want to go for a personal choice, go for Envenomed, or if you need action points back quicker, yeah, like if you need action points, go for Envenom. If you don't need them, go for Soulside Crystal. And then powers, these are the powers that I'm using. Onslaught has no target cap, or at least it has a huge, very it can hit a lot of targets, while Tremor is target cap to 5, I believe, so it's not that great, and the radius is awful, like 15 feet is terrible. Bull Charge to move from like enemy to enemy, like monkeys would move from branch to branch. and that's it. I'm using the same class features. You can use more movement speed or whatever you feel comfortable using. I'm using heavier slash on AoE because Vengeance is a bit low on AoE sometimes, so I'd rather not use it. Plus I'm not using Anvil at all, basically. I'm just using it at the start of Voss, so there's no point in using Weight of Vengeance. Prepared Slam, even though Ricochet is not that bad in some situations. And then you have Rolling Hatred. Crushing Blows is strong on AoE, but it will set your Vengeance to 0 all the time, so not worth using. Land Waster and Bloody Reprise. So one of the few, let's say, combo that you can have on AoE is you have your you must have your Vengeance up at 90% or more. I'm gonna show you. Hold on a second. Okay, now that my Vengeance is up, what I do is I need my action points, so hold on a second. Obviously you should start off all the mob fights with Heavy Slash, and then Onslaught, trying to hit the more enemies you can. And then whenever you they're stacked up, you can, and you have action points obviously, you can go with Brass Slash, and then you go for Art Shaker, and then you'll get a Shockwave, and then you use Bolt Shot immediately, or any encounter power to get your Vengeance back. And this is one way to deal some AoE damage. But most of the powers are target capped to 5, so they're not as effective as you could think. Besides that, you want to use Lightning on AoE. It's great with tied to Reeve. Like, okay, Xuna just proc, but you see like how many hits I'm getting of Reeve tied with Lightning. It's pretty good. Then Xuna's the best AoE companion, obviously. I took off some combat advantage because you don't have, especially in a fighter that needs to be in the center to deal some damage, you don't make that much of a use of combat advantage. The uptime of combat advantage is pretty unreliable, so I went for more accuracy and crit chance. And I used 2 Gladiator's Guile to move around quicker, because you actually need that movement speed on AoE. And I believe that is everything for my AoE loadout. You could use extra damage with Undeads and Fiends if you'd like. That's it. I'm gonna post a video of my boss later, so you can see how I play in there and hopefully get some tips out of it. This was everything about my fighter DPS. I hope you enjoyed the video and the build. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and sorry for being over talkative, but English is not my first language, so I try my best. See you later, guys. Have fun, and we'll catch up with another video on my channel, probably about my tank or healer. So bye bye.